Yo, what's going on, guys? Mush back at it with another video, another edition of Steam games to add to your wish list, a series where I dig through the depths of Steam so you don't have to, and I recommend you guys some cool games to add to your wish list. Of course, I don't have experience with these games because I'm not gonna pay full price for them, but the idea is you add these games to your wish list, you see how the games evolve, and when they're available at a very low price, that's when you pick them up. Actually, for a couple games on this list, I do have experience with them, so that was a little bit of a lie. But without further ado, let's get right into this, because the last time I tried to do this a few days ago, we came across that Fairy Tail ripoff, and I had to do a video about that, and I promised you guys I would give you guys an update, so let's get into this. First things first, this is a game a couple of you guys have been mentioning to me, and that is Wargroove. This is a super cool game that harkens back to games like Advance Wars, a Nintendo series that I thoroughly loved, and now we have a game that's resemblant of that on PC, and the great thing about this game is it also has a creator studio, so if you want to create your own levels and things like that, you can do that. Specifically, the description touts Take to the Battlefield with Wargroove, a strategy game for up to 4 players. Choose your commander and wage turn-based war on battling factions, design and share maps, so that is a key part about this game, cutscenes and campaigns with easy-to-use editors and in-depth customization tools. This is a game that's been getting a little bit of recognition. I believe it was a top seller on Steam for a little bit, and you guys will see with the reviews, pretty positive at 84% based on 641 reviews. I imagine that this is a game that will continue to evolve in the coming months, but one to add to your wishlist right now at $19.99, a little bit high of a price point, but one that could be really good. Alright, moving on from that, another game that I've talked a lot about is Pray for the Gods. This game just hit early access, and I'm not going to spend too much time on this because I did a pretty in-depth video on this, but Pray for the Gods is a game that harkens back to Shadow of the Colossus, and Shadow of the Colossus is one of the best PlayStation 2 games of all time, recently remade on the PlayStation 4, but this game has a lot of other elements as well, more survival mechanics, and this is a game that was kickstarted a while back, and I was honestly a little bit worried to know if this game was ever going to come to fruition. I just wasn't sure because it was such an ambitious project, and it looked like it was being made by a rather small studio, but the game has finally hit early access, and it's getting pretty good reviews, all things considered. As an early access title, 83% on 206 reviews. That's pretty good. Hopefully the development studio can just stay on board with this game and make it better and better, and by the time it's ready to release, hopefully later this year, early next year, it could be a much more compelling experience. Right now, it's available for $25.49. Not a terrible price, but keep an eye on it, see how this game evolves, and maybe if it's available for a little bit cheaper, pick it up then. Moving on from that, this is a game that recently caught my attention, just released back on February 1st, and it is Spintality, a cyberpunk management simulator. You find a company, spread fake news, start riots, and become immortal. In a cyberpunk management sim, wealth is power and corporations are king. Can you monopolize the globe and build a corporate empire that will stand forever? This is a game that came out of nowhere. I did not even know about this game at all ahead of its release, but it sounds like a super interesting game. Right now, the reviews are a little bit mixed, 72 reviews, and it's 77% positive, which is pretty good, all things considered, honestly. Most of the reviews here are pretty good. You have one negative review here, but a lot of them are pretty positive, and the thing you have to bear in mind is this game was released at a $9.99 price point, $8.99 as a special promotion. Probably a game that I could very well see in a humble bundle down the line. I could see this game getting cheap pretty quickly, because usually with these lower key titles that are a little bit interesting, these are the perfect games to add to a lower tier humble bundle or just knock down to $2.50 really quickly. I know that's pushing away a lot of people from buying the game ASAP, but that's the point of this series. Add it to your wish list. It's a pretty interesting game. Now, the next game is a pretty major release, but it's a game I know a lot of you guys didn't check out, and that is Ace Combat 7 Skies Unknown. Now, you might be wondering, why are the reviews at 70% based on 2,915 user reviews? That, honestly, isn't that positive for a bigger budget game like this. I believe the issue with the game is it doesn't have the arcade stick support, which is a little bit of a disappointment. However, if you were just looking to play this game with a traditional controller, it's still going to be really good. Is this game worth $60? Probably not, and based on how this game is being received on PC, based on the fact that it's a Bandai Namco title, which relatively with their games, they go on sale pretty quickly, would not pay $60 for it. I highly ever recommend games at $60 unless it's a Resident Evil 2 or something like that. This is one to add to your wish list down the line if it's available for south of $30. Probably pick it up then, because the actual reviews have been very, very positive for this one. It has like an 81 on Metacritic, so that's pretty positive. Add it to your wish list, pick it up down the line. Next up is a game that caught my attention pretty recently, and that is Unruly Heroes, which is available available for $19.99, getting pretty good reviews from critics. IGN Italy gave it an 8.5, 3D Dragos gave it a 9 out of 10, and then IGN Spain gave it an 8.8. You've got a pretty cool cooperative puzzle platformer here with some pretty iconic characters by the looks of it. $19.99 is just a little bit steep of a price point. This is another game I foresee getting cheap really quickly, but if you dig platformers, this is one to check out. You experience the Legend of the Monkey King solo or cooperatively with up to 4 players in local play. You'll be able to master the combined strength of 4 different heroes by learning to use the best one for each new encounter and challenge. Test your reflexes against an assortment of challenging enemies and intimidating bosses. So another cool game. $19.99, too expensive. Definitely don't buy it at $20. Received rather well, 79% at 127 user reviews. Another one to add to your wish list. Next up, we have Sunless Skies, which is the sequel to Sunless Sea. This game is being received rather well. 268 reviews all time, 81% positive. This just dropped January 31st. $22.49 is just a little bit expensive, but the game itself has a lot of promise. You sail the stars, betray your queen, murder a son. Sunless Sky is a gothic horror role-playing game with a focus on exploration and exquisite storytelling for PC, Mac, and Linux. Now, I don't have experience with this game, but I do have experience with Sunless Sea, and you guys that have played that game know how good it is. So Sunless Skies is definitely a game to be excited for. Added to your wishlist. Again, just like Sunless Sea, that game got pretty cheap pretty quickly, so I imagine something similar for Sunless Skies. Maybe it'll retain its value a little bit longer just because it's a little bit more recognized, but even then, released a couple days ago, and it's still only got 268 user reviews. That's not that much. So probably by the middle of this year, I could see this rather cheap. $22.49, again, just a little bit too expensive. $25 is the base price. If it's, say, 50% off for $12 and change, that would be a great buy. Moving on from that, now this game just caught my interest. I just caught this game while digging through a bunch of the Steam releases, and that is in Kubo. It's only $5.94. So honestly, if this game interests you off the bat, maybe pick it up right away. What this game is reminding me of is A Boy and His Blob based on the presentation style. It's a side-scrolling platform game with a semi-horror theme. They present many ghosts from around the world in their games as enemies and bosses. You play as a child in his nightmare and discover the truth about his story. Really dig the presentation here. The art style, I think, is dope. $5.94, again, super cheap, and considering it came out on January 31st, it's just gonna get cheaper and cheaper as the months roll on. Summer sale, I could see this down to like under $3. So this might just be one of those games that if Steam persists with this, you know, break $30 threshold, or maybe they'll even increase that threshold in the future, that's something they could do. A game like in Kubo could be one. Add to your wish list, and then if you do need to break that threshold, add it to your cart and you might be able to break the threshold. That's gonna be a factor to play in when I recommend these games. Pretty cool side scroller though. I see a lot of potential out of this one. Only 26 reviews, but 80% positive based on those, so cool stuff here. Moving on from that, we have Robothorium Sci-Fi Dungeon Crawler. This just came out of early access, and this is what you guys need to know. While this game came out of early access, you'll notice that some of the recent reviews are mixed, and what I'm seeing is this game probably shouldn't have came out of early access at this point, so that's a little bit of a disappointment, but add it to your wish list for now. It's a sci-fi dungeon crawler, and it does have some pretty cool themes. I think it's $12, so it's not even breaking the bank at this point, but see how this game evolves, see if Goblin Studios stays committed to it, and maybe pick it up down the line. Another game I foresee getting cheap pretty quickly, as it just came out of early access, not getting a lot of recognition, but another one to add to your wish list for now. And lastly, the last 8 games I mentioned were all recent releases. I also want to go a little bit back and recommend you guys some games that are actually on my wish list. So first up, we have a game that I discovered during the winter sale last year. I noticed that this game was on sale and it caught my interest right away, and that is Insomnia the Ark. Insomnia is a diesel punk sci-fi RPG about the slowly degrading remnants of human society attempting to survive on an abandoned space metropolis. You develop your character, explore lovingly handcrafted locations, interact with peculiar NPCs and factions, and try to stay alive in a brutal world. You'll notice that some of the reviews aren't all that positive. It seems like from a technical standpoint, this game isn't completely there yet. So on that basis, it being $30 is a little bit pricey. I believe during the winter sale, it was like $22.50, which even that, a little bit pricey. But if this game is south of, say, $15, maybe a little under $10, might be worth checking out. This is one of the hidden gems on PC, and just based on looking at this game, I think this is a game that would have some mainstream recognition, and a lot of you guys that do enjoy your more big budget titles, this might be one to keep an eye on. Hopefully it improves and it gets better in terms of its performance, because that, I think, is what's holding this game back. In terms of the reviews, only 570 reviews in total, 63% mixed, so that's a little bit disappointing, but the recent reviews are a little bit more positive at 72% based on 25 reviews. Again, another one to add to your wish list with this. And lastly, this is a game that came out all the way back in 2017, The First Tree. Now, if you look at this game's art style and you aren't captivated immediately, I don't know what to tell you. It harkens back to a game like Journey for me. That was a PlayStation exclusive coming to PC as well pretty soon. Described as a beautiful third-person exploration game centered around two parallel stories, a fox trying to find her missing family and a son reconnecting with his estranged father in Alaska. You uncover artifacts from the son's life as he becomes intertwined in the fox's journey towards the first tree. Very positive reviews here, 80% overall based on 1,100 reviews. Recent reviews have it at 82% positive. Again, this is a game that's, what, 16 months old at this point, and even during this lunar sale, it's only 33% off. So it looks like this game is holding up in value, even though its base price is $9.99, which is pretty cheap. I imagine this game is a little bit on the shorter side if it is like those story-driven games and, you know, artistic games like a Journey or a Flower. I imagine it's only going to span 2 to 4 hours, but when it's a little bit cheaper, maybe check it out then. It's not like $6.69 is breaking the bank all too much, but a little bit cheaper, and I do think The First Tree would be a good go. Add it to your wish list. For now, one of those walking simulators. And that's gonna conclude this video. I hope you guys enjoyed digging through a lot of the games available on Steam. I hope this is gonna allow you to broaden your horizons a little bit and understand that there are a ton of games available on Steam. I know a lot of you guys are like, hey, I'm not excited for a Steam sale anymore. I own every game. Well, if you can't be excited by a game like Pray for the Gods, Wargroove, Ace Combat 7, I think Sunless Skies looks dope. In Kubo, a game like this that's definitely gonna get swept under the rug within a month. It's one to add to your wish list and maybe down the line pick it up and it might surprise you quite a bit. Insomnia the Ark, we'll see how that game evolves, and The First Tree, I think it looks super interesting. So yeah, if you just amass a good wish list, if you actually just dig through Steam, there are a lot of cool titles you can find, and with this series, I hope I can help you guys broaden your horizons of what games you try out. But that's gonna conclude this video. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. I'm sorry that I can't give my own insight on each specific game. I'm only one man, and being able to play all of these games is a little bit difficult, and, you know, buying all of them would be a little bit difficult, but, you know, just based on what I can see and based on perception, these games do look interesting, and with all of them, I hope that at some point I do actually give them a go. But of course, there are so many games available on Steam, I can't possibly get to all of them. That's gonna wrap up this one. If you guys have a request for a future video, leave it in the comment section down below, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. Hey, what's going on, guys? Mush here again. Hope you enjoyed the video. As you guys might know, YouTube's notification system is sometimes a little bit wonky, even if you're subscribed to the channel. Maybe you're not abundantly aware that I uploaded a video. To remedy that situation, make sure you hit the bell notification button. This way, whenever I upload a new video, and I try to upload as consistently as possible, you will be notified directly of the upload, and you can watch it as soon as it goes live. I would really appreciate if you guys hit that button so you can stay up to date with all of the content I'm posting. But as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.